now want to check in with our Sabrina Franza. We have her on the phone. Sabrina, thanks for taking time to be with us. You have been out at Broadview, and you have also ridden along with ICE. You have a lot of perspective on this situation. Can you tell me a little bit about your reaction in seeing this interaction out here outside the Broadview facility? Pretty tense at the end of yet another week with a lot of headlines in regard to immigration and the Operation Midway Blitz right here in Chicago.
Hey, Marie, yes, so usually on Fridays and Saturdays, we tend to see bigger protests outside of Broadview ICE facility. That has been going on for the last few weeks as Operation Midway Blitz continues in the Chicago area. But yes, you are correct. Big headlines in the immigration world this week. Yesterday, a federal judge and multiple attorneys for people who are detained inside Broadview were able to tour the facility. That's the first time anyone's been allowed inside since this operation began. And this is all happening on the heels of a federal lawsuit about people inside and the conditions that they're facing. But in addition to that, we're also learning this morning that the commander of CBP, Customs and Border Protection, who was in Chicago and in charge of Operation Midway Blitz, Gregory Bovino, is now out of Chicago and making his way to North Carolina. Sources are telling us that the agents that were with him, with CBP, are also much less now present in Chicago than they have been over the last few weeks, many of them going with him, presumably to North Carolina and other places. We know those agents have been largely away from home or wherever their home is for them, not Chicago, for the time being during this operation. So it's possible some people are moving closer to home, which really leaves the pre-Midway Blitz folks and a larger ICE presence in the city than we had seen from Customs and Border Protection. We know that, proportionally speaking, CBP agents were making up for about double the amount of people than ICE. We had about 220 CBP agents on the ground for the last few weeks, compared to 80 or so ICE agents, and then the other folks that were joining in from other federal agencies just to help. So proportionally speaking, we're seeing a lot fewer people on the ground from CBP as this protest is escalating outside, but that doesn't mean that the protesters' mission, it seems, has changed. In talking to some people who are advocating for immigrants and immigrants' rights, they are still concerned about the people that were arrested during this operation in the last few weeks. And Broadview is the only location, really, where people have been taken after they've been arrested by federal agents and stayed there for, days at a time in some cases. So their protests are continuing in terms of people that have been arrested during these demonstrations that we've seen. Earlier this week, there were a few people who were appearing in federal court because they were facing federal charges. All of them pled not guilty in their cases, but in the smaller situations, like probably what we're seeing today, where local police are the ones making these arrests, those people are usually held to or given a lesser charge than assaulting a federal officer, obviously, because those federal officers aren't the ones engaging them. Many times those charges are eventually dropped, or these people are eventually released pending their trials, and these are local charges that they would be facing, not federal charges that they're being given. So lots happening. We also know that there are possibly hundreds of immigrants who were arrested between June and October that stand to be released between now and next Friday because a federal judge found their rights might have been violated by a consent decree that the federal agencies had entered into with ACLU and other groups when they were arrested for possibly having a warrantless arrest. So that's ongoing as people are gathering at Broadview, and there are 13 other individuals that should be released by today, who were arrested during the last few months, and the judge found that their rights definitively had been violated. So we're waiting to see what happens to those people.
Right, we will. It'll be interesting, Sabrina, like you pointed out. It seems that state police are the main agency here that seems to be taking people into custody. You've given us great context, Sabrina. Thank you so much for all your reporting on this Operation Midway Blitz, everything that's been impacted by it, and we appreciate you filling in some of the gaps for us as to what happens next at this scene.